What was it like being a student in Burma?
It was really challenging because for me personally, I'm a computer science student. So while while I had to stay in Burma, as a computer science, there was no electricity to charge my computer. And it was during exam time. So what's a computer science student going to do if he doesn't have power on his laptop? I couldn't code. I couldn't socialize with my friends. There was basically no access to the internet because there would be random blackouts during the night, during the day. And I still remember like this happening when the internet did not work at all. The government cut off the internet to the outside world.
Mm.
So this all happened during 2020 to 2021. I was a freshman during that time, and it was a transitional period for me because that was when our country's inflation rate started to skyrocket. So we couldn't access daily necessities as well. So for me, it wasn't that noticeable because we had access to these resources, but for the normal citizens of Burma who were the who made up the majority of the population, I understood their struggles and pain. So yeah, being a student, I believe it's our duty to spread awareness of what's happening in Burma right now. So that's what I'm trying to do with the CUNY community as well as the American people here. Yeah.
Why did you decide to attend the protests that were happening over there?
So I so throughout the entirety of the conflict itself, since the coup happened, a lot of people and a lot of students have died, trying to voice our uh, desires and revolt. The government uh ha that is in control right now in Burma, they don't care for the people at all. All they care for is the resources that they're going to get by bribing and smuggling resources outside to the country. So as a student, I believe that it's our responsibility to, as a new generation, is to change what other people in front of us has done for. So all of these are sacrifices which would not have been done if it weren't for these people ahead of us. And it is our duty to continue that legacy and the job that they have started. If
Mm.
we were to stop right now, everything that we have fought for will be over. All the young Democrats that has given up their lives for democracy, it will all be in vain. So the future of our country, there will be no more future. Everyone will be back. Burma will be thrown back into the Stone Ages where people won't have electricity, communication, or just daily resources. Like we won't have access to them. Living there will be impossible. So that, yeah, so as a student, it's important to keep in mind of what's right and wrong and to fight for what you think is right for your country.
Is there a saying in Burmese that captures this sentiment where there's certain chants that people would have at these protests to convey this meaning?
Yes, definitely. So one of these pro chants would be Yirobo Army, and another one would be Bujo Pere Sipinya Pirure Utapu Mahobu. So what that means in English is our military leader, General Aung San, he fought for Burma's freedom from England and Japan. So he is basically the founding father of our country, and the military knowledge and power he gave to the Burmese Tatmadaw right now is not to kill its own people, it's to protect the people. But what Min Aung Hlaing is doing right now and his military cronies, they're killing the people. Like they don't care for what's good for the citizens. So we say that at the rallies as well as Iromo Army, which means our revolt will win. Our protest will win. There we will win. So basically, yeah, those two chants, they're really powerful since considering the historical context behind them, in the 1988 student revolt, that those two chants were born from there. So we need to continue what what we're starting. We can't stop now. Like there's no more return for us.
So describe to me in your own words this journey going from Burma with all of these really harsh conditions that you were facing, going from that and then making it here to the United States.
Yeah, so for me, I was a student up till the ninth grade at an American school. So having to quit school and going to another school for because my country is in inflation and everything else, it really messed up my schedule and my perception of the outside world. I never thought that I would have to adjust to things uh more drastically because throughout my entire life I lived a comfortable one. So after the coup happened in 2020, I switched schools, but the thing was most of my friends did not. Uh, on my school was a private one, so obviously there were some military associated people attending there. So it was kind of eye-opening to say, per se, to experience this because while a normal citizen, like the majority of Burma were struggling to meet ends meet, these people who had privileges, they were getting to avoid those struggles, all because of political associations and links they had. And like the struggles we faced in us normal citizens, we had no outside communication. So that really messed up the country's economy. And right now we can't go out of Burma anymore as students because there's a new law that stated that students aged 18 to 31, we must get specific agreements with the government to allow us to go outside of the country. And that is really hard when you're just a new person experiencing life. Like you have a future ahead of you. If your government won't allow you to go out and live your own life and have freedom, then what's the point of even living at all? Like you're basically a puppet for the military right this day. So a lot of people, they're right now, unfortunately, in that position. I have received news that in Southeast Asia, if you apply for a F1 visa, which is a student visa, and you're from Burma, they're most likely to reject you because of your country's economical situation. As a student, this is very hurtful, and I just feel I want to feel empathetic for my students. I do feel sad for them because your choice and your ability to grow in life is dependent on your country's economical situation. That should not happen in the first place. Like that is totally unreasonable as a student because your future lies on your country by this point. So it doesn't make sense at all. So I really hope the situation gets better. And these protests that we're doing, I'm sure they're getting like awareness and coverage that they deserve to get. Yeah.
Hmm. So the documents that you have shown me tell a story. You know, you have all of your documents from when you were in the country as a student, getting accepted for the Oxford program, and then all the COVID tests and plane tickets to finally make it here. Based on all of those, what would you like people to know about your journey and your story to get here to America?
Yeah, so my journey to getting here was not easy at all. So for me, as I was not attending an American school anymore, I had to attend a British certified program, which was the Cambridge CIE program. So the CIE program was basically the General Certificate for Secondary Education by England, and that one has a little bit more steps included to getting your high school diploma. So even though that program is at level with the American high school diploma, we as external students have to apply for other certificates as well, such as our English speaking certificate, which is issued by Cambridge as well, which is really confusing for me because I can speak perfect English and understand it. But since we're not considered by the AP Common Core system, there are extra steps we had to take, such as uh, we had to take three certificates just for one diploma, which did not make sense at all. Like we're spending extra time and extra money. Um, the other thing is if you're a student outside of the American curriculum and you do not have extracurriculars or other educational documents to support you, there's no chance of you getting accepted to college. So
Mm.
for me, I was fortunate enough to have attended ISM, the International School of Myanmar, till my freshman year of high school, which meant I was able to join my school's uh programs such as the junior varsity soccer team, the mathematics Olympics, those. But since I switched to the British curriculum, I didn't get the chance to attend any programs at all because they're not designed for that. And the most challenging part of my documentations would be the F1 visa. I had to go to Vietnam to take that because the embassy in Burma was fully booked for the next 8 months. You couldn't get an appointment to get your visa until Jan until December, no, not December, November 2024. By that time, my college offers would expire, and I would have to repeat the whole I-20 application process again. So what I had to do was I had to save my funds for college, like take some out and apply for a visa in Vietnam instead. And as a 16-year-old that was going abroad for the first time, it was a bit challenging because you did not know how to do most of the stuff. And for me as a child from a single mother, it was a bit harder than my friends who had resources and family to back them up. I had to fend everything for myself. Like every part from my visa applications to the date of going to the embassy, I had to do everything myself. Since we were on a tight budget too, I didn't have the luxury of getting to spend money on agents, which would help me out to save time. So I would, and after, I still remember the most memorable day was when I got my visa. I got the little pink sheet from the embassy, and I knew then that my life was on a great path. Like it was definitely gonna change. I have the opportunity to study in the American uh, institution right now, which is Brooklyn College, and I get to study computer science without any interruptions from political threats as well. Yeah, so I would say that's my journey, and I'm proud to have accomplished that. Yeah.
Nice. So, how do you balance your school life here, knowing what is still going back on in your home country? How do you sort of compartmentalize all the negative that is happening and just going about your daily school life here?
Yeah, school life here, I had to adjust to it when I first got here. So the funny thing was I've never rode a subway or a bus before. I've never used public transportation before because in Burma, uh, we don't have that infrastructure. So it was I wouldn't say challenging, but I would say fun because it was fun seeing the trains for the first time in my life and seeing seeing all these fast food conglomerates and everything and big infrastructures. They really changed my perspective because I didn't know that these existed outside my country. So it was really eye-opening for me. But I managed my work and school life, work, school, and relaxing life by talking with my family back home in Burma. So so I talk with my mom every night and I tell her about what I'm doing, the events I'm doing at school. And I've also worked as an intern at the IRC, which is the International Rescue Committee. So they have helped me out by like giving me counseling. They've helped me out with getting to letting me meet with other students similar to my situation. And yeah, I find that talking with people who I share experiences with, it really helps me de-stress and just relax. Yeah. But
Hmm.
otherwise than that, I do play some sports. And right now I'm trying to join a fraternity at our school, the Kappa Sigma. So I would like to, meet some brothers and make some friends. but that's I'm coping with it. Yeah.
Hmm. So you've chosen to not remain anonymous with your story, even though there are warrants out for your arrest in your home country. Why did you decide to be so vocal and out in the open about your story?
So yes, I do have a warrant in my name, and that warrant was issued to me when the our local police department found out that I was no longer in my town. So I chose to not remain anonymous because there are a lot of people who are in worse situations, bad situations than me, and there are people who are in situations like me, but they're afraid to speak out. And I understand why it's like that because obviously your family is at danger of persecution as well. So some people, when they speak out, it's most likely that their family will be interrogated and they won't see light anymore. And there has been instances where if you do something bad, your brother faces or your sibling faces the same consequences. So people with siblings, I understand why they won't speak out. But for me as a single child, I have nothing to lose anymore. Like I'm also a single child from a single mother, and I don't really have a family to go back to. So everything for me is new. I'm starting a new life here, and I just want the people and internationally to know what's happening in Burma because the media they like to cover the stories most in the West and what's happening in the Upper East, but not really in Southeast Asia. Like so the Ukraine and Russia conflict, the Palestine and Israel conflict, they like to cover that. But in Burma, there's already been like 2 million deaths that are unreported by the military. That's already happened. And it's really heartbreaking because all of these deaths majority of them, 80%, are by young people that were killed by the military unjustly. So if we don't bring awareness to this situation, there will be more young people dying in Burma, and the military they'll just get richer and richer while the poor gets poorer. And if it gets to a point where there will be no more return, the country of Burma will be demolished completely. Everything will be under the junta's control, and there won't be any uh hope of even technologically advancing or economically advancing anymore. So it's our responsibility as to give the media coverage that Burma deserves because I don't want my home country to be thrown back to the Stone Ages. I want to see my country thrive. I want to see students studying from Burma in the United States. I want us all to reconnect one day. So that's why I chose to speak out and not remain anonymous, even though my life is on the line. Yeah. So right now I can't return to Burma anymore because there was a Facebook Live uh, that the NUG government they hosted on Facebook. My face was in there, and I have some friends from the Ministry of Home Affairs in this country. They said that um, it's most likely that the airport security has that footage, and I'll probably get arrested as soon as I arrive in Burma. So no return for me, and I know the consequences for me, but I still want to see my friends one day, my family one day, just for everyone with Burma. That's why I chose to speak out. Yeah.